Today, we're talking about a pretty fundamental shift in what it even means to be a developer. We're going to dive into the idea of the augmented developer. All right, let's just get right into it. There's a conversation, or maybe more of a whisper, happening on pretty much every engineering team right now. It usually starts after a demo of some slick new AI coding tool. And it always leads to that one big unspoken question. Are we being replaced?
Well, the short answer is a pretty emphatic no. But, and this is the part you really need to hear, your role is being completely redefined. So this isn't about being replaced, it's about being reimagined. It's an evolution.
So what's really going on here? Let's try to cut through all the hype and actually look at some data. Because the numbers tell a really interesting story about why redefined is exactly the right word.
First off, these tools are everywhere. I mean, look at this. The latest Stack Overflow survey shows a whopping 76% of developers are already using AI tools. That's a huge number. But it's not the whole story. Not even close. And this is where it gets fascinating. See, there's this massive gap. Even though adoption is super high, only about half of those developers report a net positive effect. And the biggest reason why, I'm sure you've felt this, 2/3 of developers complain that the AI's output is almost right, but not quite. Ugh. It's in that frustrating little gap that's exactly where this new developer role is emerging.
Which brings us to this core idea, the augmented developer. This isn't just about being a coder anymore. It's about becoming an orchestrator of intelligence.
So what does this new job actually look like? Well, you can think of it as standing on 4 pillars. First, you're not just writing individual functions anymore. You're designing the entire system. Second, you're the conductor, orchestrating different AI agents to work together. Third, and this is a big one, you treat AI like real infrastructure, not some magic box. And finally, trust and security aren't an afterthought, they're job number 1, baked in from the very beginning.
Let's just double-click on that second pillar for a second. These agentic workflows. The best analogy is probably microservices, but for intelligence. You have all these specialized AI agents, each really good at one specific thing, and your job is to get them to collaborate to achieve a much bigger goal. And hey, this isn't science fiction. Tools like Docker Compose are already being adapted for exactly this.
Now, it only makes sense that if your responsibilities are changing this dramatically, your tools have to change too. The entire developer stack is evolving right along with you.
You know, for years, the industry was obsessed with this mythical 10x developer, the lone wolf genius who was just the fastest coder in the room. Well, that's kind of old news. The new goal is the 100x developer, and this has nothing to do with typing speed. It's all about being the fastest thinker, the person who composes systems instead of just writing lines of code. And this chart just lays it out so clearly. Look at this. Every single layer of the stack is changing. Ideation goes from a whiteboard to AI-assisted architecture. Implementation goes from you manually coding everything to you delegating tasks to agents. And it goes all the way down to operations, where we're moving from just staring at dashboards to building systems that can literally heal themselves. It's a massive shift. Okay, so with all of this going on, what skills should you be focusing on? Well, here's a bit of a hot take for you. Prompt engineering is probably overrated. Yeah, you heard me, because the real, lasting skill is system design. That's what's incredibly underrated right now. Think about it. Writing a clever prompt is a skill that's going to be commoditized pretty quickly. But the ability to design a resilient, secure, scalable system of collaborating agents, that is the skill that's going to define careers for the next decade. So what does that mean for you, practically? It's about a mental shift. You have to start thinking in terms of goal-driven agents, not just simple request-response APIs. You've got to make security a non-negotiable from day one. And you really have to master this compose mindset, this ability to define how all the complex pieces fit together so the whole thing is reproducible and reliable. To really help this whole idea of orchestration click, let's use an analogy. So first, let's just nail down this core difference again. With an API, you give it a very specific command, right? It's a direct order. With an agent, you give it a desired outcome. You tell it the what, and it figures out the how. It's the difference between telling someone, chop this onion, and telling them, make me a delicious French onion soup. Now imagine you're running a super popular, high-efficiency cafe. You're not back there personally cooking every single dish. No way. You're the chef architect. You're the one who designed the entire system. Your AI agents, they're your specialized kitchen staff, each an expert at their station. Docker and your other infra, that's the clean, consistent, reliable kitchen itself. And the communication protocol, the MCP, that's your automated ordering system that seamlessly connects every single part of the operation.
That's the augmented developer. You're not the line cook anymore. You're the chef architect, designing and overseeing the system that produces incredible results at scale.
So what this means for your career is that the term full stack is getting a serious upgrade. It's not just about front end and back end anymore. The new full stack spans all the way from high-level system design through AI orchestration to deep security governance.
And this is how we get to that wild 100x productivity number. It's not some fantasy about typing 100 times faster. It's about the incredible leverage you gain when you can successfully orchestrate these kinds of intelligent systems.
It all builds back to the single most important takeaway, the one we started with. If you remember nothing else, remember this: you're not being replaced, you're being upgraded. The technology is here. The paradigm shift is happening right now, and the opportunity in front of us is absolutely massive. So the only question that's really left is the one you have to ask yourself. Are you upgrading yourself?